welcome to something new that we're doing here. Well, it's not really new. We do it on the podcast. It's called Fact or Sci-fi, where we usually take kind of like a random UFO event and we try to figure out if it's real or if it's not. And now we're going to bring it over to our YouTube channel so we can show you things like videos where we weren't able to do over the audio podcast.
Yeah, now you can actually see what we're looking at and critiquing.
Instead of just kind of closing your eyes and imagining it. So today,
Which is good.
yeah, exactly. So today we have a really cool video. We're going to start off with the video the UFO that was seen in Australia last night, which is today's the 28th, right? So the 27th is when it was saw.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's what it looks like. It was all over UFO Twitter this morning. So I thought it would be a nice one to break in this Fact or Sci-fi on. Also, too, because I know very much so what the hell this is. And this is like a pretty easy Fact or Sci-fi for me. What about you?
Yes, I think we know what it is.
We do know what it is. Okay, so I'll just say it right off the bat. This is absolutely not a UFO in any way, shape, or form. This is a rocket launch. How I know this is because we here in the States have a lot of rocket launches of SpaceX. And the first time someone saw something like this, it was a big hoopla all over the internet. But then ever since then, now when we see them, we're very aware that this is just what rocket launches look like. They look almost like weird jellyfish in the sky. That's kind of the best way I can put it, because it looks like it has a head and these like arms that come off the side of it, but it's just a rocket. This one was specifically a Chinese rocket, which doesn't take off a lot. So in Australia, they don't necessarily see something like this in the sky. So I can kind of understand why they're like, oh no, oh my God, a UFO.
I know. I'm like, why is it in Australian airspace? I would not be happy.
I don't know if it's necessarily that it's in Australian airspace per se, but I think that they could just see it from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can see it pretty well.
These videos were fantastic. So they saw it really, really well.
Actually, it was technically the 28th in Australia if it happened yesterday. That's kind of funny.
So that
it's
it is
kind of like today.
What is? Well, that's a good observation.
It is. But that is funny that you bring up the SpaceX thing, because we do see them all the time. And every time, sure enough, it gets blasted all over the internet.
Always on UFO Twitter and stuff, people with their videos. And it's so funny to me because there's so many of them now. Like, who goes outside of their house and doesn't know about rocket launches these days?
Yes, although, I mean, who's to say that there isn't some type of UFO out there
that looks just like this and is masking itself?
Yeah, I mean, it could be alleged.
I will
rocket.
If we're gonna live in the world that we live in where anything is possible, I will say that it is a fake rocket launch by the Chinese, that they confirmed it. Maybe it's like the Chinese UFO friends who came to visit and they were like, oh no, we'll pretend like it was our rocket. We know it was you guys. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be funny if it wasn't anyone's rocket? And yeah, they're just saying that.
And they're just saying it. That'd be actually really kind of funny. They're like, oh, we'll take the blame for this one.
It all looks like
something
else.
Same.
They won't even think about it. They'll be like, oh yeah, of course, duh. But it does look really cool.
It is a very interesting thing to see in the night sky. It's very pretty, especially when you see it with your eyes. Like, a lot of these videos and pictures really don't do it justice, how beautiful and all the colors that you see. But I also think that that's very indicative of the UFO culture in general when it comes to these videos. You are not seeing in these videos what people are seeing with their eyes, which makes it so much harder to understand what's happening in this video. Because if you've never seen a rocket launch before and you see a video like this looks incredibly compelling. Like, oh my God, you have this weird thing in the sky. Why is it shaped like a boomerang? This is a boomerang UFO. How easy would it be to go down that rabbit hole if you had never seen that before? You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So I can see it either way. I can see it either way.
I agree. I'm gonna have to just sci-fi this one right off the bat.
Yeah, just because we know
exactly what
we know better. But if we didn't, I would be like, that is weird.
Exactly. If you saw this video outside of context and you had no idea and it was just a small clip like this right here, what would you think? You know what I mean?
I'd be like, what the fuck is that?
What the hell is that? That's not a bad one. So we'll fact that one. But now I have one here that I think is going to test your patience a little bit. And I did this one on purpose because we went with an easy picking your side of the road on this one. And this one to me is a little bit more in the middle, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one for you guys now. It does have some audio.
They're moving in sync. They're moving in sync.
I think what's super interesting about this one is what he's saying in the background. You can hear him say twice, they're moving in sync. There's moving in sync.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting to me because when they say moving in sync, there's two things that I think of. So you can think of one, it's two objects that are independent of each other that are moving in sync. But what this more looks like to me, what I would say would be two lights on the side, like on one craft.
Wait, two lights on one craft?
Yes. That's why it looks like they're moving in sync, because it's the lights are stationary on each side of the craft. So it looks like they're moving together.
And how could this craft be shaped in a way that we would see those two lights in that form, like in that line?
You know what? Maybe it's shaped like a giant squid, and those are the squid eyes. And that is where the driving station is, and those are the eyes of the squid spaceship.
Okay,
Final answer.
So the squid, the squid is
Yes.
totally invisible.
Yeah.
Totally invisible.
Well,
but those eyes.
the squid is invisible to the naked eye because we do not see all spectrums of light.
Okay, so we can't see squid bodies, but we can see squid eyes.
Yeah, because they're reflective.
They're Girl, I
You're
don't
the one
know
who asked
about
me to
that.
justify this. Well, I'm just saying, sometimes when you see lights on some type of a craft, like let's say it's just a light on each side of the craft, right? The reason that it looks like it's moving in sync is because they're both on the same craft. So those are,
Yeah.
when I hear him say that they're in sync, those are the two things that I think of, that either this is two crafts that are moving together, or possibly this is one craft that has two lights on it.
Yes, I can understand why you see that, but I would just need to know what shape this craft could be. in
What
order
if
for that
it
to
was a
happen.
triangle and you can't see the one up front because it's facing forward or upwards? Or what if one of its blinkers is out?
It's going like, so this is like the bottom. These are like where the two lights are.
Yes.
This is the tip. It's like this, but the tip light isn't on. And it's just going like this.
Yeah, well, maybe it's going forward, so that's why you can't see it. So like you're looking from behind, you can see the two behind lights, but you can't see the front light because it's going away from him. I don't know.
So then start it over, Jaimie. I'm trying to test your theory here. And so far, it's not-
Okay. So look how can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay. So this would be the bottom of it, and then it would come up like right here, but it's flying that way, so you can't see that light because it's pointing that way.
So they put it in reverse, Terry.
Yeah, you're looking at it
Like
from the
that
back.
way, but at the times it's like,
Yeah. Like it's like zooming off, like you're just seeing its taillights. I'm trying to come up with explanations. The only other thing I could think of is that this is a drone. That's a drone with two lights on it flying around. These are my specific options for what I have decided I think that it is, which is why I think it's perfect for our first episode of Fact or Sci-fi, because this one gives me a hard middle bitch.
Really? Start it over.
I'm already ahead of you, baby.
I think it's you and I. No, because for a second, it almost looked like one of the
Went a little bit
like
lower.
an orb went like it stretched, like it went away. Right.
Oh, right there. Yeah. I saw
See?
what you were saying. Yeah. All right. So we are going to continue this conversation forward, assuming that these are two crafts and not one then.
I think that they're two
Right
orb
there.
UFOs. It's totally you and I. We're out there. We were just cruising.
It was me and you driving our spaceship for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to middle bitch this one. I think that this is pretty compelling, a pretty compelling UFO video.
I think
It's very clearly not an airplane. I don't think the only thing I think of is maybe possibly a drone or some sort of orb UFO.
I
but-
I would like to fact it with the possibility
Okay.
that it could be a drone.
All right. So on the scale, then you're giving it like a 7.5 then.
You know, I'm just gonna fact it.
You're gonna fact it and I'm gonna middle bitch it. All right, that's
Yeah.
good. So we've covered the entire spectrum of Fact or Sci-fi today. We fucking sci-fi'd it. I fucking middle bitched it. You fucking fact it. That's a pretty
true.
it's a decent opening episode of Fact or Sci-fi. What do you say?
I agree. I completely agree.
All right, guys, send in your UFO videos for us to look over so we can Fact or Sci-fi them. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.